man, I love me some Caitlin Clark. I really do. I've said from the beginning when I discovered her, and I was late to the party because, hey, look, I've said it before, not a big women's basketball guy. I never have been. I haven't been. But Caitlin Clark's talent was just too much for me to deny. So I've been following this WNBA season casually, but hey, baby steps, right? I haven't followed the WNBA at all for pretty much the last 30 years. So they've got my attention a little bit here with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has my attention, let's be honest. She is the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, all rolled into one for the women's game. And it's exciting to see what she's got going on. And one of the things I love about her is her youthful enthusiasm, right? This is a 22-year-old kid who has shot to superstardom, and she's having fun out there. The Fever are playing well. The Indiana Fever started this season 1-8. Caitlin was catching all kinds of from everybody. It was getting salty out there in the WNBA with some of her peers who definitely were jealous. They had more jelly than Smuckers in the WNBA this year when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But as the season has gone on, we have seen the Indiana Fever get better. They've won 12 out of their last 18. They are now only one game under 500 after that 1-8 start. And Caitlin Clark is having fun. And as witness to the fun that she's having, let's take a look at a little bit of post-game banter that happened last night with Caitlin and a couple of her teammates.
Get my hands on as many balls as I could, and take advantage of that. Caitlin? Yeah. We're done. Oh, Lex.
Bylo příjemné.
It was soon.
Well, I like Caitlin Clark even more now because she shares my juvenile sense of humor. Obviously, that was her teammate Lexie Hall saying that she was just trying to get her hands on as many balls as she could, and Caitlin couldn't hold it together. It's like when Ronnie T-Shirts and I start talking about taints, and I know that Ronnie T-Shirts is laughing off camera right now. Yeah, you hear that? I got you, motherfucker, didn't I? And so I'm kind of gratified to know that Caitlin Clark and her teammates aren't that much different than me and Ronnie T. And Caitlin is continuing to elevate the women's game. The Fever have set a record this season. There have been over 500,000 fans this year who have viewed Indiana Fever games in person. And that means home and road combined. She's drawing huge crowds wherever she goes. They are going to be here in Chicago Friday night. And I'm going to tell you, I looked at tickets the first time in my life. And again, baby steps. But I looked at tickets to see how much they cost because I thought about possibly maybe going to see Caitlin Clark play. And the cheapest tickets that are available on StubHub for the Sky Fever game on Friday night here in Chicago are going for almost $200. And then I said, well, maybe next year because I'm a cheap ass, but that's just how that is. Caitlin is obviously a prolific three-point shooter, but unbelievably, and we can get this tweet up here, producer Tim, my man Tim, who is the best in the business, found this little nugget for me. Caitlin Clark's average three-pointer this year is longer than the average three of Trae Young, Dame Lillard, and Steph Curry. Her average is over 28 feet. That's how much range that this woman has. She's got more range than Daniel Day-Lewis, if I may channel my inner Dennis Miller for a moment. Pretty fucking remarkable when it really comes down to it. The fact that she can pull up and is pulling up from a greater distance than Steph Curry. She just set the record for most three-pointers in a rookie season. She hit her 86th three of the season. I believe the Fever have played 31 games, if my math is holding up. So they've got like 9 more games left in the regular season. She's going to shatter that record by the time the season's over. And the scary part is she hasn't even really been shooting threes as effectively this year as normal. She's only shooting 33%. And here we see her last night seeing Simone Biles and Gabby Thomas from the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team and having fun with them, seeing that she's a fan too. You know, again, she's a 22-year-old kid. She's having fun. Her team is starting to take off, and we're just starting to scratch the surface of the Caitlin Clark era, and I'm here for it. Ronnie T-shirts. I know you're out there. I heard your laughter a few minutes ago. Saying taint is like sending out the bat signal for Ronnie. He joins us now. He is, of course, the international streaming star, the one and only, except no substitutes, Ronnie T-shirts. And Ronnie, what do you think? Caitlin Clark and her teammates joking about grabbing balls. She couldn't keep her composure together. The Fever are winning. She's bombing threes from 30 feet every night, and fans are coming out and they're loving it. I would say overall, despite the soap opera aspect of this season that we had, at least near the first half of the season, seems to be dissipating somewhat. Pretty successful rookie year so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with you. She is definitely captivating to watch. Like I was all in last year, her senior year at Iowa. She's definitely fun to watch. I mean, she's potentially the best passer in basketball, right? Like I don't know of anybody else that's making the passes that she makes. Unfortunately, she's passing it to people that don't finish it very often. But she is captivating to watch. And I guess this is, I don't think we're a WNBA. What are we? A podcast, a streaming show, whatever we are. But we're definitely turning into a Caitlin Clark show. But she's fun to watch. I enjoy her personality. I think you should go to the game, dude. $200. Come on, man. That's walk around money for you.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go by myself and not take my kids. See, you got to realize, like, when you got as many kids as I have, multiply anything that's fun by a factor of about 4.
Don't you want your kids
decide if you want to do it?
Don't you want your kids to watch Angel Reese just throw up wild shots inside the paint, just indiscriminately?
Now look at you, got to bring Angel Reese into it. Got to bring Angel Reese into it, don't you? See? Look at you fanning the flames. Look at you fanning the flames. You're getting good at this.
You saw that video.
Controversy creates cash. Am I right, Ronnie?
Well, I mean, it definitely feels like it. But you saw that video I sent you. I texted you the other day. I mean, it was pretty comical.
Well, hey, look, let's not pass up this chance to throw Angel Reese under the bus. We said the other day that she's shooting 43% inside of 5 feet. And you sent me I don't know if it was a TikTok or a reel
Instagram
or whatever. And it was a compilation of Angel Reese misses from inside 5 feet. And look, in fairness, you can take anybody's worst moments. I'm sure if you went through his entire career, you could make Michael Jordan look like a klutz by stringing together the handful of times that he did something.
But you can't support it. You can't support it with 43% shooting. So, like, that's a flawed argument.
Can we get my nickname going? Can we get it trending? She's Dennis Rodwoman. I'm the only person that thinks that's funny, probably, but I'm just going to stick with it. She is a good rebounder. Couldn't hit water if she fell out of a boat.
She's a good rebounder of her own crappy
her
shots.
Shooting touch. Well, she might be padding the stats 2 or 3 rebounds a night, if we're being honest.
Just 3,
honest,
just 3.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not watching the games to keep track of her stats, but well, anyway, thank you for bringing Angel Reese into it. We were going to try to get through one segment without the villainous Angel Reese coming up, but there you go. We've got a poll of the day, Ronnie. You know how we do here. And I think this week we are going to pit the 4 champions together tomorrow. We're going to go back. We're going to get our 4 champions. I can't remember who the 3 winners are this week so far, Ron. I'm going to have to go back and we're going to have to put Jared on that to tell us who our 3 winners are. But we're going to add a 4th winner today, and then tomorrow, Fridays are just going to be Showdown Fridays because we're going to pit the 4 winners together, and we're going to have the champion of the week. And then maybe later, maybe we'll have a bracket at the end of the year, and we'll put 16 weeks worth of champions into some sort of tournament. I don't fucking know. And then we'll get it sponsored by somebody because we want to have sponsors on this show eventually, Ron. I know we do. Let's take a look at the poll of the day, which I put up earlier on Super 70 Sports over on X, where I like to do my thing. We've got Funyuns. They're fun. It's right there in the name. Everybody loves Funyuns. Clyde the Glide Drexler, Dream Team member, Phi Slamma Jamma fraternity member. Money for Nothing, the great Dire Straits song. Mark Knopfler. You know Sting sang the I Want My MTV at the beginning of that, Ron? Were you aware of that? That's probably not a secret, but are you aware that was Sting? Yeah.
I did not know that.
Blackjack. Okay, well, yeah, it's Sting. And we've got Blackjack, so always a fun game, also known as 21 to some of us. And producer Tim, as always, teasing us. He's going money for nothing, and wow, money for nothing. It's been only had one real nail biter this week, Ron. Couple, I guess, that were reasonably close, but
yeah, I wonder who came up with those.
Well, you contributed Blackjack, so you can own Blackjack's 3rd place finish. I thought Funyuns would do a little better. And Clyde Drexler is awesome, right? Where did I go wrong today?
I think the key to creating this, Ricky, is if you're going to have something strong that you think is going to be really strong, like Money for Nothing, you can't have Clyde Drexler. You got to have Michael Jordan. Like, you've got to have the best.
Michael Jordan will kick the shit out of Money for Nothing.
Okay, so not Michael Jordan. So I don't know.
I didn't think Money for Nothing was going to be that strong. I'm surprised that it's like that dominant. I thought I knew it would be popular, but I didn't think it would just, run off and hide.
Well, Funyuns isn't even close to the top of snacks. So that's a bit of a problem.
Well,
there,
what's more important to your life, though, Ron? By like your old criteria that you use, what's more important to your life, Funyuns or Money for Nothing? Which one would you miss more?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't miss money if I would never miss Money for Nothing. I would change the channel if it came
on. What would you have voted for?
Oh, Blackjack, because I do it with like which one do I currently enjoy consuming the most, and that would be Blackjack.
Everybody likes their chicks for free, Ron.
That is
We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries, Ron. Remember that cigar chomping futuristic motherfucker from the video? And that song, you can't really play that song on the radio today, Ron, and be careful, we can't say it, but do you remember what's in that song that could never be played on the radio today?
I allude to it. I can't, I don't know.
I can't allude to it.
All right.
Some people are listening right now and they know what I'm referring to. There can be no allusions to it. It's not good by today's standards. But in the 80s, they just played it on the radio. It was about the rock star with the earring and the makeup. Ron, if that fucking helps you, but I'm not going to belabor the point. Do you play blackjack very often? I know you enjoy poker.
Yeah, so blackjack is more. I play blackjack if I'm in a casino. That is pretty much the only game I play. Like on our vacation when we went on that Alaskan cruise, I played a bit of blackjack. I play poker if I'm playing with my friends in the neighborhood.
What do you hit on? Where's your limit? Like,
Oh,
what's
my,
like the highest that you'll hit?
well, I mean, it depends on it depends on it depends on what the dealer has, but my friends hate me and they think I'm an idiot because I'll double down on 12 if the dealer's showing a 6 or lower. But I look at it as I'm not betting that much money, and some people jump off of cliffs with parachutes and skydive and do all kinds of other crazy stuff for their thrill, and my thrill is hitting on 12. So yeah. I'll hit on. I'll hit. Yeah, it just depends, Ricky. It depends.
Ron, tell me, like, I moved my return today, and I've got you more directly over my camera. Do I look like I'm looking at the camera directly, or do I look a little shifty right now? Honest opinion. I mean, I know I always look a little shifty.
You kind of look like that guy who is staring at that 16-year-old on the album cover. Just that's what it looks like to me right now.
The great John Bolt. Okay, well, that's a good time to change the subject. Weird news, Ron. I saw a news story that caught my eye and cracked me up. A child, a 4-year-old boy in a museum in Israel, broke a 3,500-year-old vase. Do you say vase or vase, Ronnie?
Well, do you belong to a country club? I say vase.
Okay, I'm a vase guy myself, but take a look at this. This is like a big fucking vase too. And this 4-year-old kid just went in there and fucking destroyed it. Just destroyed this motherfucker. And then the museum, they invited him back, and it made me think of the time that the Brady kids broke the vase. And then they had to go out and perform on that TV show in order to. Yeah. Yeah, take a look at that. That was the Peter Brady outlet pass into the hallway. I said there in the tweet, accidents happen, but what the hell was Peter doing just turning around and giving it a Wes Unseld into the hall? Yeah, that was for you. If you enjoyed that Wes Unseld comment, that was for you, motherfucker. Small audience that I'm playing to with the Wes Unseld outlet pass reference, but by God, I'll make it. Because that's what I'm here to do. But the Brady kids, yeah, they broke it. They tried to glue it back together. It didn't work. It wasn't holding water. And I believe they went out and was that when they were the silver platters? I feel like that was when they did. We got to keep on dancing all through the night. Yeah, don't everybody turn this program off at once because I'm singing. But yeah. 3,500 years right down the shitter because of some fucking 4-year-old. It reminds me of like every grandma from the 70s and 80s that didn't want you to touch her shit. You know why she didn't want you to touch her shit? Because she knew. Because she knew that would happen. She knew that your stupid 4-year-old ass was going to get fucking Cheeto fingers on her couch, that you were going to knock over something that was important to her and break it. She didn't trust you. She didn't trust you for a reason. So, anyway, college football has kicked off this week. Ronnie T-Shirts is excited for Saturday. There's no doubt about it. He's giddy. And the NFL season is right around the corner as well, and I'm excited about that as well. And my guest today, which I'm very excited about, is a great running back. And man, what happened to the position of running back in the NFL? Running back, when I was a kid, I've always said running backs are my favorite. It's my favorite position. It's the position that I would have wanted to played if I had any ability. And stifle your fucking laughter. I understand that I don't have running back DNA. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, John Riggins gave me hope, at least. John Riggins out there looking like some guy that Joe Gibbs met in a liquor store parking lot. Had a belly. That's my kind of running back. Give me a running back with a belly who needs oxygen on the sidelines. Averaging 3.8 yards a carry. That was my kind of guy. Well, my guest today was not one of those running backs. My guest today didn't have a belly. He didn't average 3.8 yards a carry. He was one of the best running backs in NFL history. It's my pleasure to welcome to the program today the 1999 SEC Player of the Year, 2005 NFL MVP, and Mr. Football in the state of Kentucky. My fellow Kentuckian, the great Shaun Alexander joins me this morning. Shaun, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful, man. Pleasure to have you on the program. I didn't realize until today that you were a Kentucky kid. I'm
That's
from Horse Cave, if you know where Horse Cave is.
I've
But
heard
yeah,
of it. I
two
have no
Kentucky
idea where
kids
it is.
here.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this
well,
is
you're not alone in that. Well, Shaun, the Shaun Alexander Award has really taken off and become a pretty significant deal in its short history. I think this is maybe the 5th or 6th year of the award, and it honors the top freshmen each year in college football. And Shaun, my production assistant Jared, is high on Dylan Raiola from Nebraska. Ronnie T-Shirts, my sidekick, is a Buckeye, so he's high on Jeremiah Smith. So as the man who the big freshman prize is named after, tell me, I'm a little more of a casual college football fan than those guys. Tell me who I need to keep my eyes on this year as potential candidates to claim the Shaun Alexander Award.
you've picked two great ones. I try myself being one of the voters. I don't get absolute approval, and I did end up liking a person being like, "Yeah, let's go." So, we've always looked for four things: amazing talent. You turn on that film and you just see them go to work. We look for a great character. You know what I mean? You know, they always say I'm still just young enough that if they do stupid, my name will be linked with them. We got to get the dress fixed. An ambassador to the university, somebody that the university's proud that that's their kid. And then the fourth one is what the NFL calls a legend. And a legend is simply a guy. The NFL always says, once a player, forever a legend. Once we watch their game and we think that they're at, and both Ohio State and Nebraska, both got solid players. Texas got a couple of them that can play. You know, so it's going to be fun watching all these guys. I have heard, a lot of schools are really pushing for their guys this year to really step to another level, and so it's going to be a lot of fun watching college football this year. You gotta love when it gets back. You know, high school football's back, college football's back, the NFL's back. It's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Absolutely. It's a lot of us think it's the best time of the year with football on the horizon. Shaun, I got to ask you, man, I was talking about earlier how much I love the running back position, and you truly are one of the most elite running backs that the NFL's ever seen. As I said, MVP of the league. You had a 353 carry season, 370 carries in your MVP year, 27 rushing touchdowns that year, which is video game numbers. And I was looking at last season. Obviously, the game is always evolving, always changing. The leader in carries last year in the NFL had 280 carries, almost 100 less than you had in your MVP season. What do you think? You know, it's almost like you have more in common with Earl Campbell and Walter Payton and that era than the modern way that running backs are being used. When you look at the NFL game today, what are your thoughts on how running backs are being utilized differently than they were during your career, which, let's face it, you're still a pretty young guy. I think you got a birthday coming up, so I'll wish you a preemptive happy birthday as well, sir. And you're younger than I am. You're not exactly an old fogey, but the game has changed a lot even since your day.
Yeah, it has. You know, I could see it happening when I was playing in Seattle. You know, I had the great Mike Holmgren, who was, a prodigy of Bill Walsh. And so these young cats today might even know who that is. But I could tell where Mike's mind was thinking that he has to call the perfect play for it to happen. And in my mind was like, if you give me the ball enough times, I'm going to make you look like you're also offensive coordinator. And so you could tell from one of the offense coordinator was Gil Haskell. He was the running back coach for Eric Dickerson. And so he would come in and tell me Eric Dickerson stories, who's, much older than I, but you would hear these stories and you're like, okay, that's the mindset of the running backs back then. Where now today you're coming in thinking, who's the other running back with me? There's going to be 2 or 3 running backs on every team. That's just not how we did it. And so it's just different. And so I feel like you start preparing from a young age, high school, to be the guy that's going to carry the ball 20, 30 times in college and in pros because you're going to be the quote unquote the man. And now you got guys that are not even playing running back because they'll go play outside linebacker or they'll slim down and play slot because they know that the running back position is not there. So the best athlete is no longer just saying, I'm going to be the man and play running back. They're playing different positions now.
Shaun, I was just thinking as we were looking at some photos of you there during your answer, you got to be the greatest number 37 to ever play the running back position. That is not a super conventional number that running backs tend to wear. Why number 37?
When I was in high school, that's a great question, by the way. In the great state of Kentucky, you know what I'm talking about. When I was in high school,
That's my man.
He said, you need to pick a number that when everybody sees it, they're going to think Shaun Alexander. And I just thought, okay, what number have I seen that I don't really know? Like there's not 2 or 3 of. And I just thought 37. I don't know too many 37s. And then my job was to go make that a household name, a household number. And so when I see little kids running around in high school or even college, rocking 37 now, even the pros are starting to see it now more. I know exactly what happened. And so that was the goal. Take a number and then go make that number special. And it was fun trying to do that. So I wore 37 starting my sophomore year in high school, took it to Alabama for my years there, and then on to Seattle.
Well, the wisdom of that proved out because 37 freshmen names were revealed. So it really has kind of become a signature for you. I got to ask you, let's talk about this Kentucky connection just for a second. Your senior year, you ran for 54 touchdowns. Now, what's it like, honestly, because I will never know in my entire life what it's like to be that much better than everybody else at anything. What was it like for you as a young guy? Because you were clearly, it's like when I used to play Tecmo Bowl when I was a kid, Everybody wanted to be Bo Jackson. I feel like your high school career, you were Bo Jackson in real life as a high school running back. What was it like for you? It was like a man among boys, it sounds like, looking at these numbers.
Yeah. The year was wild. My junior year, and all I put in my mind was, can I train to be better? And I just went for it. And there was games where we'd be up a lot. I'd just come out in the full quarter, so we don't even know what the numbers could be if they were tough games. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to go after it, and they say it a lot now in the pros, and you say it certain teams. Nick Saban was really good at saying that our standard is our standard. And so my standard was, I'm going to try to score a bunch of touchdowns every game. And if the team's not good enough, our players on our team, my high school, are your best friends growing up. That's how high school football is. Everybody wanted that to happen. They felt like when I scored, it was the whole town scoring. And so we all just went for it. And so 54 touchdowns, it was crazy. I scored, I think 7 touchdowns in one game. That was the most I'd ever scored. And that was wild.
Shaun, one more question for you. I know you got a tight schedule today, but I have to ask you, I've got 5 kids. And throughout my entire life, people have said to me, how do you do it? How do you do it? 5 kids. I don't know how you do it. Well, you've got 12 kids. So I feel like one of those parents that has one kid talking to you. You still look young. You still got bright eyes, my friend. What's the secret? How does a man have 12 children and hold up and succeed in life as well as you are. Because I'll tell you, every gray hair that I have, that they came from my children, I think. I don't know. See if he comes back. We may have lost him. And it appears that we've lost him. Maybe that's a cliffhanger. Maybe that's our cliffhanger. We'll come back. We'll have him back on again at some point, and we'll find out what. See, I'll never know. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. All right, let's go back to Shaun Alexander for the anticipated answer. Is he back?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
There you go. They always say leave everybody hanging. That's how you get invited back. So I'm in a car right now, driving to a college campus because my third oldest is an amazing track athlete. She was an All-American and as a sophomore and All-American as a junior. This is her senior year, so we're driving to a college to see if that's going to be her school. The answer is an amazing wife that knows how to juggle everybody, and then you get to come in and play the role of, hey, here's the final blow. Let's push it this far and let's go. So for that many kids, teamwork has to be in it. It's got to be a lot of being selfless. And I married well, so she is way more selfless than I am. So that's one of the keys to mention that. And then really just like any football program or any great business, the culture has to be set. You know what I mean? So there's this culture that we have that we want to be excellent and that we have enough grace and freedom to make some mistakes. And so as parents, we'll definitely make them. One kid gets we're disciplined parents for one kid, and then the next one we're like, yeah, let them go play around with hammers and nails, so and so you
yes, it's funny how that works. Yeah,
you got to be willing to say, okay, ooh, we were a little too tough for this one. Oh, we're being a little too loose for this one, and then just make it work.
That's a great answer. I'm gonna try to go to school on that answer myself. Shaun, looking forward this year to following the pursuit of the Shaun Alexander Award. We'll be looking at these great freshmen this season, and somebody is obviously going to enjoy having a great honor bestowed on them to have an award that has your name on it. Thank you so much, my fellow Kentucky friend, and appreciate your time today.
Hey, roll tide, go Seahawks.
All right, Shaun Alexander, the 2005 NFL MVP, and a man who has 12 children and seems to be holding up pretty well, Ronnie. He's looking good. He looks pretty much like he did in his playing days.
Yeah, man. There's a theme with the guests that we've had on. They all look amazing, and they're all like really good people. Like you're finding some good people out there. While I was watching, I was doing a little research, as I tend to do. And do you know who he finished his career with? And I think it's kind of a lesson for all of us that when athletes are at the end of their career and they end up on another team, just let them go and don't worry about it because we're never going to remember. He played 4 games and had 11 carries for the Redskins.
I know. Yeah.
But he's a Seahawk. Right. He's a Seahawk in our head. So like when it happens, we're like, this is weird. Whoa, why are you doing this? You should just retire. It's like, let them do it. Let them have their fun. Because at the end of the day, Michael Jordan is a Bull. Emmitt Smith is a Cowboy. Franco Harris is a Steeler. Shaun Alexander is a Seahawk.
Tony Dorsett, did you remember his last year was with the Broncos?
Yep.
Yeah. I love that, and I've done a couple of those tweets in the past, and it might be a good time for us to do another one maybe next week and get some user responses because I'll post, give me your favorite doesn't look right in that uniform guy. Johnny Unitas with the San Diego Chargers. Joe Namath with the LA Rams. are a couple more where you just look at guys and you think like, man, like it just doesn't look right. But you're right. Where's the harm in it really?
None.
There is none. I mean, and the player has the peace of mind of knowing that it was time, right? You don't have to like go through your retirement thinking, I think I had another great season in me. You get to go out there and leave it on the field, and it doesn't detract from, Joey Votto, for instance, right? He played his entire career with the Reds, but he was trying to latch on with the Blue Jays. And if he had made it to the major league with the Blue Jays, I don't think that would have diminished his career with the Reds one iota.
Yeah, it's actually funny, the whole diminishing career and legacy and things like that. That's just for fans because, like, when you're telling a guy not to go play for whoever, don't go play for the Blue Jays, you're a Red. Like, you're telling this dude, don't make another couple $1 million for your family. Like, that's an insane thing to think as fans, right? We're so selfish and so worried about our favorite players' legacies. Man, they don't care. They're just trying to make a living, and they're trying to do what makes them happy.
We don't think of them as real people a lot of the time, right? Like one of the great things about having this show and getting to do this show is you get to sit down and you get to talk to a Shaun Alexander about his family. Shaun Alexander, the person, right? And like these people that we discussed, Boomer Esiason, obviously, although his is, certainly been more publicized through the years, but his family, right? And so just getting to talk about these, talking to Aaron Boone about video games and yacht rock and whatever, and remembering that these are people like any of the rest of us. They just have very high profile jobs, and they have the same concerns that any of us have. And it's easy to forget that sometimes when we treat celebrities like they're zoo animals who only exist to pop out in a uniform and entertain us periodically.
Couldn't agree more.
Dylan Raiola. Is that the guy, Dylan Raiola? That I believe that is that's
Nebraska.
That's Jared's freshman hopeful for the Shaun Alexander Award. It got me thinking about Crayolas, Ronnie. And I just tweeted the other day, remember back in the day when you would get your crayons, you always hoped that you would get Crayolas. They were the industry standard of crayon greatness. But the second question that you had to address is, were you going to get the big box? Were you going to get like a medium-sized box? I think they had a 16 pack, maybe a 32 pack, but the two polar ends of the extremes were the 64 pack, which was for the aristocracy, and the 8 pack that was for the common man. And here's the Crayola 8 pack. I tweeted, can you please pass me burnt sienna? Motherfucker, I have orange. Do you live at Buckingham Palace? Ron, when you were a kid, I know that you didn't have money for dessert in your family. I know that there was not a nickel and a dime to go around for you to have a McDonald's apple pie. We've all heard the sad Oliver Twist-like story of your childhood. But what kind of crayon situation were you in? Were you one of these elite kids that had all the different colors that we've never even heard of before, that Crayola was just pulling out of their ass? Or were you just working with the basic 8 crayons, Ronnie?
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't remember, but it is funny to think about. Like, it's almost like you can tell a kid's kind of what kind of money his parents make by the crayons that he has, right? So if he's got 64, they live in the nice neighborhood. If they have 32 next, I guess it's 3216. So yeah, you could figure it out. I do know that it's funny because there's a lot of times off-brand stuff is fine, but off-brand crayons are terrible, man. Those things don't even
wax.
They're wax. You
might as well just pick up a fucking candle and try to write with it, Ron.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The kind that they'll give you, like when you take your kids out and they give you the like little 3 fucking Aldi brand crayons or whatever with the kids menu or whatever. They're hot fucking garbage, Ron.
They don't
hot
even
fucking
affix to the
garbage.
paper. Yeah, they don't even affix to the paper.
Clip my take on fucking generic crayons and put it on YouTube. I got a take on generic crayons, motherfucker. They're hot fucking garbage. That's what they are. Tell me about Dylan Raiola, Ron. Is he the freshman that I should be watching? You're the guy who can educate me on this particular topic. Who is that the freshman to watch for? This kid from Nebraska?
I mean, it's what everybody thinks. It's just an interesting case, though. He went to 4 different high schools. He committed to Ohio State at one point. He committed to Georgia at one point, and now he's at Nebraska. So I don't know. Like, I don't know about that part of him. He kind of, have you seen him? He kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes. Like, he actually physically looks like Patrick Mahomes. He's a little smooth.
I saw him earlier, and I thought that. Yeah, I was like, why are we showing Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
In the back of my mind while Shaun was talking earlier. Yeah.
But listen, man, there's no question I am just a homer. Jeremiah Smith, if he doesn't get hurt, that's who's winning the Shaun Alexander Award. Like, everybody thinks in Columbus, like his teammates included, like Marvin Harrison Jr., who? Like, this kid is supposedly, he's like the second coming. So just pay attention to Jeremiah Smith.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.